welcome. Welcome to our 62nd anniversary. A joyous day, but we celebrate sober, and that's for all kind of reasons, an obvious reason, I think. I think we have still an aspiring program. It's a little bit shorter than usual. May you live in interesting times. That's actually a translation. That's actually what you read about an ancient Chinese curse. Although the moment you Google it, there's a lot of debate whether it's actually Chinese in origin, but it's used a lot actually to not wish well somebody, but to wish him bad luck. Because interesting times are times of trouble and uncertainty. Now, if we look around us, what's happening in society, and basically all over the world, yes, we do live in interesting times. If you look at what's happening at the moment, look at our society, more polarization, we see all across the world more wars, more conflicts, also more suffering. And this is something actually nobody wants, but it's very difficult to stop and change this trend, unfortunately. The same can be said for our planet. Our climate is changing, not in the best way, and you see already a lot of impact on our biodiversity, but also a lot of people are suffering, specifically people living in vulnerable places, and those are usually the poor people. And also here at our own UT, we are not, let's say, isolated from what's happening around the world. So, like all Dutch universities, we are dealing with a change in political and also, you could say, a financial and existence discussion. There is currently in Parliament a new law about actually more Dutch language in our university programs, educational programs, and we don't know how this law, if it will be passed or under what conditions. But whatever will happen, if it's passed, it will have an impact on our education. And the main goal of this law is, of course, to limit the influx of international students, something we don't want, actually. At the same, you see also a lot of uncertainty concerning finances. Every university is at the moment already struggling with the financial situation. It started with the Ukrainian war, gas prices, energy became very expensive, inflation raised, and that triggered a whole lot of, let's say, a chain of reactions, which actually caused all the universities to have a shortage of money. Yes, we are aware of that, and it's not easily fixed, and that's actually the reason we have quite a sober DS at the moment. But there's another thing, that's what we know now. If you just look at the recent framework and the coalition agreement which was made, yeah, it's getting to get worse. I mean, the plans in that agreement are stopping sector plans, less research fund, the global investments, the national investments in all kind of future-oriented initiatives which are really needed are actually halted or completely stopped. And unfortunately, this is going to hit us. Maybe we have a little bit of a potential good news, that is the Beethoven initiative, that's in the chips technology sector, where we may have actually some additional investments, but that's still a question mark and a very dynamic game, you could say, of negotiations with changing rules all the time. Now, I don't know how that will affect us, but it will affect us. But at the same time, I mean, we are an entrepreneurial university. We are engineers. We have an engineering mentality. We are used to fix things. So whatever comes our way, I'm sure we will be able to deal with it, but it will not be easy. We will be pressured to make very tough decisions. I have no idea how many tough decisions we have to make, but this is actually the nearby future, whether we like it or not. But the good thing about interesting times is it's also a moment and a time to change things, because there is no discussion about a sense of urgency. We need to change something. So this is also an opportunity, and since we are an entrepreneurial university, we actually should look at it that way, as a way to change things, to make things better. But the problem we are facing at the moment is also a global development. As a university, we want to contribute to a better world. But you can only do that when the society trusts you. And that's at the moment also under threat with alternative facts, fake news, all kind of bubbles on the internet. So the respect and trust in science is eroding, and it's eroding fast. So it's also our challenge and responsibility to gain that trust again. And that's why it's important that we even more are aware that we should put our university in the middle of society and be also recognizable by society that we are contributing together for this better world. And here you see it's kind of classification, first, second, third, and fourth generation universities. But what you see is initially was mainly focused on education, then the focus was on education and research, then it became more already research and education more with societal value. And what we really have to now look for is actually a university who's aiming for societal impact. You can make a lot of interpretations what this impact could be. And I'm not saying everything should be aimed for the impact, because you also need fundamental, basic, high-quality, excellent research as the foundation for having research which has impact. And as the University of Twente, we really aim on the domains of health, security, climate. And of course, at the moment, we are also asking the CHIPS technology to play our part, because that's really a societal demand, and we are responding to this. So in that sense, I think we have the responsibility to be very much aware that we should aim to be a visible fourth-generation university in our current society. Well, if you look at it that way, I think then you could also look at it more in a positive way. And you could actually phrase the Chinese curse into maybe a more positive say, and may you live in a hopeful times. Because instead of only looking what's wrong, let's look what can be good and where we should work together. And one of the things what we are already doing a lot is the circular economy. That's a topic. If you would have asked a lot of people randomly, are you aware that the University of Twente is doing a lot on circular economy? Then a lot of you wouldn't be aware of that. But it's a nice, very positive thing we actually do a lot. And that's much more happening than people are aware of. And also today we will actually demonstrate it with examples from researchers, a student, and we will also look for the vision of our current ministry. So in 2050, the Netherlands aims to be a fully circular economy. I think that's really a very nice and very clear vision. That means that all the products and raw materials should be either reused or recycled. And if you do this in an ideal world, and that of course a lot of research still to be done, you end up in a world with no waste. Think about it. So people think a lot about the energy transition, but this is actually call it the waste transition. So in a society without waste, even what we call waste now is just basically a raw product for something else. And that waste is something that we can get rid of if we really work together, and we cannot do it on our own. Of course, you need basic research, and at the moment there's a lot of detailed, maybe even lab-based research on proof of concepts. But to make it work, you also have to collaborate with industry, with ministries, to make sure that things are organized the proper way, that people take the responsibility and open to it. Because at the moment, what we see, if you talk about plastic bottles, which you buy in the supermarket, you return them and they are just reused. And then if they are actually not reusable anymore, they go to the waste heap. And that's something you don't want to happen. Specifically, the recycling, breaking it to its basic components and build something completely new out of it, so not plastic remaining plastic, but maybe a biofuel or whatever. That's something you should aim for. But that also requires not only us to do the research, but to make sure that the research has impact, and you can do it only together with society. Now, that's why what we will see here also in this today at the DS, and it's also important to emphasize that a lot of our alumni are already operating and creating this circular economy. So here are some examples, people working also in completely different, from municipalities to big industry to small, medium enterprises, and they all work in the development of this circular economy. So there's already a lot happening, and I really hope that you get inspired by this and that you actually feel hopeful, because that's what we want to achieve for today. And therefore, we hope that also that our next keynote speaker, Jan-Hendrik Dronkes, he will actually inform us the vision of the ministry. But also what I want to emphasize is that we have another great example. Yesterday, Langenzijd's building was chosen as the best building in 2024. And one of the key reasons is that it was actually built according to the concept of recycling. So, of course, we recycled the building, but also a lot of the elements in the building are recycled. So already we have a very nice piece of example of a circular economy in our newer Langensides building where ITC is based. And I really am happy that we get the prize, and also was very good attention, and I would say very positive news about University of Twente. So I hope that you live in more hopeful times. Thank you.